Hello everyone, I'm Rajeshri. A very warm welcome to you all in today's episode and a huge thanks for being with me in this new experimental musical journey of mine. And today, as the title suggests, we are going to discover, explore, enter the world of our post box. Yes, in Britain, it is the uh, red post box, an iconic British heritage. But this episode will be about the post box which exists in this world as a general. And why I have decided to do this. Few weeks ago, I took a gentle stroll in my village, which I usually take, uh, nothing unusual. But that day, I sat beside the pond uh, in a little bench, and the one of the post boxes uh, was right there, like a few hundred yards from me. And I don't know what happened. It was kind of that phenomena, a flickering, uh, flickering flame of a candle. The rest of the world kind of like a dark place for me for that moment. The rest of the world became a dark place. And I was just concentrating on the post box. And it was good 45 minutes to 1 hour. It's a very mundane thing that people would come, post their letters. But that day I realized that almost 50 years ago, when my mother introduced me to this dear friend of mine, Mr. Postbox, I used to think that it is just a box where people go and post their letters. But that day, everything kind of changed. I sat there, and within few minutes, a car came and stopped beside the post box. A couple got down from the car. They both were carrying quite a few envelopes. And I know them. They not very well, but they have just moved into the village, and I know they are getting married next month. So they were carrying a bunch of letters which look like wedding invitations. Their face was kind of glowing with happiness, which I could feel from there. And I'm sure when the post box received those letters, it Mr. Postbox also could feel the happiness and the joy of the of of that couple who are going to start their new life together. And few minutes have gone past. I was sitting and looking at the post box. And guess what? A lady walked out from the our village community hall. I know her very well. She is one of the committee members who is very active. She was also carrying quite a few letters that day. We exchanged hello, and then she told me these are the invitation letters for the charity ball. Happens every January. And she went and posted those letters. It's a very mundane thing that people will have post, and they have to go and put it there. But I thought the little world of Mr. Postbox inside his house, little house, in his lounge. Now there are two types of envelopes. They all are sitting together. They all are very happy. One is for charity ball and another is wedding invitation. So it's a happy place now. But the atmosphere inside the Postboxers lounge changed quite soon, because I took out a little book from my bag and I was trying to concentrate. But believe you me, that day my my whole attention was towards the post box. So I looked up and I saw that one of the lads from our village, he's a rugby player, he's a big lad. He always has a smiley face, but that day his face was painted with melancholy, kind of grief. And I know why. Because 2 weeks ago, he lost his dear dad. And he was carrying a single envelope. Most probably, it is for the funeral. So, that is also an invitation card, but it is for a reason which is so different from the previous two types of envelopes. So certainly the atmosphere in the lounge of the post box would change, I understand. Then 15-20 minutes have gone by and I was still there watching the people going to work and things like that, but my full attention was somehow towards the post box. And again, I could see that the lady in the village whose son works as a soldier was coming towards the post box. And I know her very well. Every now and then she posts a little letter to her son. I asked her one day, this is the era of email, text message, WhatsApp message, Twitter, Instagram. How come you always like to send a letter to your son? And you know what she told me? She said, my son has got a beautiful handwriting. And not only that, he's an introvertish guy, but when his reply comes, maybe 2-3 lines, Mama, I'm all well, and maybe another line about his next assignment. She said, when I opened the envelope, I could feel his presence. And I completely understood. She did share with me that he is going for his next assignment in a war zone. So she's a bit worried as well. So this is the envelope which carries certainly hope that wherever he will go, he will send her a reply. Certainly the anxieties of a mother and unconditional love of a mother, and pride as well that her son is serving the country. So this is an envelope carrying mixed emotions, and that will contribute the atmosphere of that lounge. Postbox's lounge, sorry. I was just sitting there quietly, maybe unknowingly waiting for someone else to come and post their letters. And you know what? I realized that day that there is one type of letter which comes with wrong address. The sender by mistake writes the wrong address or doesn't know the right address. And that type of letter, that's the only type of letter which actually comes back again to the post box. So I don't know whether that day any of those letters were posted or not, but that's the only letter which would go out in the unexplored world, in an unknown world, and bring back all the messages from there, information from there, which it can share with the others, because the others were not exposed to they are not exposed to the outside world. So how fascinating is that? And of course with the post box as well. When a post comes through our door, we all go and open it. But if we think that all these envelopes, all these letters, they open up to the post box. So the post box deal every minute, every in a day, for thrice or four times sometimes, it deals with so many emotions each envelope is carrying. As the history goes, 1653, in the year 1653, the first post box was invented in Paris. And then by 1829, there were many four post boxes in Paris and in France, other places in France. 1853, in Carlisle, Bothergate is the place where the first post box was erected in England. And then in the year 1855, there were 6 post boxes were installed in London, and from there the journey started. So since 1653, our good friend Mr. Postbox is dealing with this many emotions, this many contrasting emotions, day in and day out. And we have to talk about those mundane letters, very boring, the bills, the gas, electricity. They are also a part of the journey. They are also the envelopes who join in the conversation in the lounge of Mr. Postbox. And then I thought it is the time to go for me. And the last person I saw, a civil servant, retired civil servant in our village. He got diagnosed with an incurable disease a few months ago. And he was walking slowly with his carer towards the post box. And the carer was carrying a little letter. I don't know whether this letter he wrote to a dearest friend or whoever. Maybe that letter was the last letter he's posting, or maybe not. And then I felt that it was time for me to go because I don't know how Mr. Postbox deals with so many emotions day in, day out. It was already feeling quite heavy inside my heart. And I was taking a walk back to my home, but I thought that I need to paint this world, and what would be the best way to do it? Music, which has got different color, texture, rhythm, dynamic speeches, which I have all visualized there. So I straight away decided to go ahead and do this composition. And as always, my wonderful teacher, who is a very distinguished pianist and composer, Mr. James Billingham, he guided me through this whole journey. He helped me to kind of form the structure of the music, the narratives as well. And on that note, I must say that, acknowledge rather, that James is the one who actually told me about that envelope with wrong address. And I think that envelope has a profound place in Mr. Postbox's life, because Mr. Postbox doesn't get the opportunity to know the journey of other envelopes because they leave. When the collection time comes, the delivery man comes from the post office and he collects all the envelopes. But that is the only envelope which comes back to Miss Postbox. So, and when I was composing the music, I was sitting and thinking that I don't know, maybe within few decades, the technology and the digitalization, that scientific era will completely swallow this communication method. But I'm sure all of you will agree with me. Sometimes in a flight, we meet a stranger, and if it's a long flight, we exchange ideas, we have a long chat, we become friends. And maybe a few years ago also, you receive a little postcard from them, from that friend, after 3 or 4 months. It brings two people from two remote parts of this world closure. So from now onwards, from that day onwards, whenever I walk past or drive past the post box, I always think that, is it only his world? No. I could hear Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Don't you think? The universal brotherhood is resonant there as well. And I don't know, maybe it is my personal opinion, but it is that small enclosed place. It is carrying such a big philosophy of life, which I have never realized before. So today I have dressed my composition. It will start with a glissando which will portray the post box opening the door for the envelope, for each envelope. And the first one, the first melody will portray the wedding, followed by funeral. Then it'll be the mother who is who wrote the letter to her soldier son, and I'll end my composition with a letter which has got wrong address written on it. It is dealing with contrasting moods, so with my pianistic limitations, it is a difficult one, but with the, as I have already mentioned, with immense inspiration, guidance, and suggestion, I have come up with this composition. And as James suggested that I should take my inspiration from Maria Bergman's Ebate and Mussorgsky's pictures at the exhibition. So these two pieces, they helped me a lot in order to make this composition. So I will go ahead and play it. Let us all enter that lounge of Mr. Postbox, which is his world, together, and let's see what we think. Hopefully we will all enjoy and cherish this experience, because we all know that the way the world of communication is approaching, and with this very fast pace, we might not see one of these post boxes in future. But it is certainly a very vital part of our life, because to me, till today, in a grey day, when I feel a bit low, no self-help books could help me that much. What a little letter from my dad, who sent me that letter when I did something good in the school. Maybe I won a tennis match, and after that he sent me a short letter saying that how proud he is. And that worn out letter gives me so much upliftment, which no self-help book could do. So on that note, let us all enjoy the music together. Thank you very much for listening. This is with the wrong address. So the other envelopes want to know what's happening in the outside world. This is the letter which portrays the envelope going to the soldier son. I could hear the guy from the post office just pulled in. He came to take all the envelopes. So it's time for our Mr. Postman to say goodbye and wish them a happy journey and closes the door.